Hello, friends. How is everyone? Hopefully good. We are going to be continuing with our powerful mystic build, which I think is this slot. Yeah, May 12th. Yes. So we are going through all of the different permutations of the of the two traits in Scarlet Hollow. Currently, I am playing Max Power, who is has got powerful build rather, and is a mystic, because I am just like going through all the powerful build options. So we so far have managed to save both Duke and Gretchen, and we are about to go meet Sybil and ask her about the weird doughy creatures that we had in the woods. Hello, Box Puppy. How are you? I'm just getting started, and I'm just about to load where we last left off, because Stella has taken Max Power to Sybil's store. I hope she's still awake. Max Power. Jesus! That's not Jesus, Stella. You and Stella turned to see a shadowy figure staring at you from across the road. You didn't hear it approach. Welcome home. Mystical. Whoever this is, its presence has chilled you to your soul. I take this dream on a trip with me to finally spray the yard and reinstall the gremlin's car seat. She went on an adventure with my dad's girlfriend today. Sounds like fun. My stream would love to see your yard. Before you can respond, the door behind you swings open. An older woman stands in the entryway. Go home, Wayne. I can't help you tonight. You look back and the figure is already gone, disappeared into the shadows of the night. We're dancing with the shadows of the night. Ooh, like at a farm? Or my strawberries have not made berries yet. There's lots of flowers though, so I have some hope that there will be actual strawberries this year. Nice. I am waiting for my local farm to have sour cherry picking, because then we will have a cherry pitting party, and I will do some canning, and it'll be amazing. Too loud. I'm sorry about that, Stella. Some people just can't be helped. What brings you out here so late? And who is this? Hi, Mrs. Forsyth. This is Max Power. Is it okay if we come in? Mystical. You and Mrs. Forsyth briefly lock eyes. So blinding and overpowering is her aura that just looking at her feels like staring directly into the sun. Her gaze pierces entirely through you, and in that moment you feel wholly known. Ah, sour cherry trees are like, I cannot keep one alive, so I just go to the farm, and it's like one weekend a year that you are able to actually pick them, so I'm very excited about that. And then the moment passes, and you only see the woman before you. Of course, you're in luck. I just put on water for hibiscus tea. And for goodness sake, you can call me Sybil. You're an adult now, after all. Welcome to my little nook. It's nice to finally meet you, Max Power. I was so sorry to hear about your mother. Vivian was such a lovely soul, and she's been sorely missed in the holler. And now poor Perlan is gone as well. Do let me know if there's anything you need while you're in town. Who was that outside? Just a very sick man. You don't need to be worried about him. You knew my mom? Of course, dear. She was a good friend of mine for many years. She was such a lovely woman. You should come by sometime. I can delight you with unsavory tales of her youth. How did you know that she died? Oh, Perlan was a chatty woman. Not much went on that I wouldn't get an earful of. Bless her heart. I've never met Pearl Ann. You don't have to pass on your condolences to me. I have no feelings about the woman. Huh, that's fair, child, but it seemed like the right thing to do. We need your help. Ah, yes, I suppose pleasantries can wait for another time. What's got you here so late? You seem troubled. You know about weird stuff, right? Unexplainable stuff? Not sure I follow, dear. I know which oils to use for which aches. I know a bit about classical spiritualism. Just what sort of unexplainable things are you talking about? We ran into some creatures out in the woods. These things, I don't even know how to describe them. I can't say I know much about local wildlife. My daughter has always had a brighter gift for nature than I. This wasn't the local wildlife, Mrs. Forsyth. Here, I can show you. Stella pulls out her camera and tilts the screen towards Sybil. Ah, one of your little videos. ... Where was this? Up the mountain to the northwest. Within the town limits? Yes. I see. Is there a way to make the video bigger and louder if you can? I'd need to plug the memory card into a computer. I could go back and get mine. No need. Kanika should still be awake. She can lend us hers. You'd better come with me, Stella. I'm sure she'll be more willing to help a friend than her nosy mother. Kanika, come on out. We could use a little help. What? Mom? Oh. Hey, Stella. And Gretchen, who's a good potato. And a stranger. What are you doing in my house? Hi, I'm Max Power. Tabitha's cousin? Yup. Sweetie, we were wondering if we could borrow your laptop. Stella and her friend have a video to show us. It's really important, Kanika. ... Okay. My room's a mess. I'll just bring it out there. Heads up, Kanika. This is graphic. There's a lot of dead and sick animals on the recording. You know, I have a harder stomach than any of our friends. I'm pressing play. Silence washes over the room as the video plays. Stella, what the hell is this? ... I'm sorry either of you had to see this, but Max Power and I have no idea how to make heads or tails of it. Stella, are you okay? Did you get hurt? I'm fine, really. I'm okay. He remains silent. Unfortunately, if these creatures are what I think they are, the two of you are embroiled in something quite sinister. My grandmother called them ditchlings, and they are a terrible omen, a sign of great suffering and destruction to come. Mom, come on. Whatever's doing this is serious. Stop scaring Stella and Max Power with this Talipo crab. Kanika, sweetie, let your mother talk. The creatures themselves are harmless to people, despite that grisly scene in the woods. But just as birds flock before a storm, the ditchlings congregate where tragedy is soon to fall. To see one is to be cursed by fate. To see many in one place is... Sybil halts her silence. Jesus, Mom, they've clearly had a rough night. They don't need this... It's okay, Kanika. This is helpful. Stella, whatever these things are, they aren't magic. We can't rule that out, not after what we saw. But fine, let's focus on what we know. Whatever they are, they're doing something to these animals. You saw that nest. What were these growths? Maybe they're making more of themselves. Yeah, maybe what we're seeing here is some sort of parasitic larval stage, part of their life cycle. But I don't want to jump to any conclusions about something this out there, not without doing some research or talking to a biologist. Kanika, you are a biologist. Seriously. I'm sure there's a rational explanation that'll clear all of this up. ... Oh dear, I'd forgotten entirely about the tea I'd put on. Let me fix you up a couple of cups. It'll help soothe your nerves. I don't know. It's getting late and I should let Miss Power get some rest. I ran them ragged today with all the hiking and running through the woods in terror. I can stay out. I'm still wired from everything that happened. Okay, maybe it's that I'm eager to get home and start doing some research. I'll ask around on my usual forums to see if anyone has information on ditchlings. Is that what you called them? That's right. You go on home now and do try to get some rest. Don't stay up all night on the online. Let me get you some of the house-made peppermint tea to go. It really does wonders to soothe the soul. Bye, Stella. I'll see you tomorrow, okay? And call me if you need to talk. Thanks, Kanika. I'll see you. Bye, Max Power. Okay, that was really like a stupid name I picked, but oh well. It's excellent iced or warm, though with the nights getting chillier, a warm will probably be best. Helps wake up the bones. ... Be careful out there, both of you. Sybil turns and closes the door behind her. Alrighty, let's head back home. My home, I mean. And here we are. You're welcome to stay the night if you want. Yeah, I think we will silently nod. Awesome. If I'm being honest, not being alone tonight is a weight off my chest. It doesn't take long for Stella to fix up the guest room for you. While it's certainly smaller than its counterpart at the estate, it's far better cared for. Make yourself at home. You know, you didn't have to do all this. Right? You don't have to worry about that. I'm glad the guest room is finally getting some use. What do you make of all this? Gosh, I don't even know where to begin. These creatures are out there and they're doing something horrible to the local wildlife. I know that some of the things Sybil said were a little wild, but if she is right, and they are an omen, maybe we can change things and stop whatever has brought them here before it happens. It's not how this works. I'm sorry, Stella. I just don't believe in magic. These ditchlings are definitely real, but there has to be a more rational explanation than the occult. Maybe. We'll have to see what tomorrow's research turns up. This whole ditchling myth might be the best lead we've got. Who was that guy outside of Sybil's? There was something about his presence that chilled me to the soul. Wayne? I haven't really gotten to know the guy. I think he works in the mine. It might be worth looking into him. I should probably try calling Tabitha. Right? She'd probably like to know you're not dead. Get some rest, Max Power. I'll see you in the morning. You pull out your phone and call. It rings for a moment before she picks up. Where the hell have you been? I texted you back as soon as I had reception. Did you? I didn't notice. Do you know anyone named Wayne? I employ over 100 people. I'm sure I know a Wayne. I went into the woods with this girl I met to find some cryptids, and a lot of really terrible things happened. Ah, so you met Stella then. Ugh, that explains everything. And she's gotten you all worked up. I'm going to bed. I'll collect you tomorrow. From the comfort of Stella's guest bed, the events of the past evening seem like something that happened to someone else. Though you can still clearly picture the terror you felt in those moments, for now you're safe and you're warm. Eventually the sun will rise and chase away the monsters and make them seem like nothing but bad dreams. Maybe tomorrow, if you're lucky, you'll wake up in the normal world and have a relaxing week in the mountains with a new friend. It's a nice thought, but deep down you can't help but worry that things will only get worse. Correct. Things only get worse. And I think that's actually the actual end of chapter 1. And I am freezing. How much of my AC is actually on that it's this cold? This is why I have a smart thermostat, right? So that I can check what's going on. Okay, it says it's 70 degrees in my room. It is not 70 degrees because I am way too cold for it to be 70 degrees. So while we watch this video, which I'm going to leave you all to watch, I'm going to get a blanket to wrap myself in because it is cold. Unfortunately, my blanket, while very pretty, is rainbow colored and blends into the green screen at least a little bit. But big gay blanket is great fun, so I can't complain too much. Oy, oy, oy. Okay. Huh. Alright, so end of chapter 1, and with powerful build we got the best possible ending we could get. There's so many locks. So many locks. Let's see if we can, how much of chapter 2 we can get through before I have my evening date. Achievement unlocked. Mix, North Carolina. This is the end of episode 1. Episode 2 awaits. If you'd like to continue with this world state in episode 2, please save your game now. Okay. Would you like to see a recap? Well, we just saw it, so we do not need a recap. But we did. Let's see. Devoured boiled peanuts when offered. Thank you, kind stranger. Found an opossum in your dresser. Narrowly escaped danger in the woods. Met Stella's friend Kanika and her mother Sybil. Learned about ditchlings. Crashed at Stella's. Called Tabitha before falling asleep. I love that there's a quilt on the wall of Stella's. And a statue of Gretchen. You open your eyes. The sun has risen. The birds are singing. You're still alive, and for now you are safe. I just realized I need to do something. Can you hang on, folks? I will BRB. And we are back. Okay. Let's get back to it. Your gaze wanders across the unfamiliar room to the window and the woods beyond, and you wonder if the monsters are lurking just beyond the trees, ready to pounce as soon as you leave the comfort of your new friend's family home. You can't help but remember the sight of pale faces jeering at you from the trees, their calls echoing through the woods as you ran for your life. A knock on the front door. Your morbid thoughts are interrupted by a distinctly unhappy voice filtering through the house and past the closed door of your bedroom. "Where the hell is Max Power?" "Oh, hey, Tabby. There's a fresh pot of coffee on the table if you want to come in." "No, I'm just here to check in on my cousin. Let's make this quick. I have a lot on my plate today." "You're barely decent. It might be mildly scandalous if people saw you like this." You might not be fully decent, but you're not about to let that stop you from being a part of this conversation. Put some clothes on." "Morning. How'd you sleep?" Gretchen excitedly looks at you and wiggles her tail. ... What exactly did the two of you get up to last night?" "We went up to the woods to film a video." "Never mind. I don't actually want to know. What I do want to know is why on earth you decided to blow me off to spend the night with a stranger." "Hey, don't be so hard on Max Power. I asked them to crash here. And last night was a lot, Tabby. There's something horrible out in the woods, and I don't think anyone in this room wanted Max Power walking up that mountain alone last night." "Stella, would you mind giving me a moment alone with my cousin? And while you're at it, please stop calling me Tabby. We're not in high school anymore." Yeah, all right. Isn't this Stella's house? Why are you bossing her around? Come on, Tabby. No berating guests in the Richmond household. Whatever. I don't really care if you're here for this. You've been in town for less than a day, and my stress is already through the roof. I mean, I get it. Stella got you all worked up, and you were too scared to walk home. Sure, whatever. That checks out. But I don't care if those woods are chock full of ghouls and ghosties. You had me worried sick. From now on, you're back at the estate by bedtime. No more impromptu sleepovers. The threads of fate will take me where they take me. Ugh, just text me, okay? I've spent more time than I'd have liked coming down here, and I have an incredibly busy day ahead of me. I expect to see you back at the estate tonight. Wait, Tabby, let me know if you're free sometime, okay? Tabitha sighs. You're relentless. We'll see, but don't get your hopes up. Hey, you good? Sorry about Tabby. She totally blindsided me. You shouldn't let Tabitha treat you like that. Huh, thanks. It's, complicated, you know? It sucks that this was probably the longest interaction I've had with her since high school. How are you holding up, though? That was rough. I don't regret staying here, but you're right, that sucked. And it's not like I didn't let her know where I was. Last night was a lot. I don't think anyone can blame you for crashing here. Tabby just doesn't get what we went through. Who would, honestly? And for the record, I'm happy you stayed, too. Anyways, sorry for that rude awakening. I'd been up for a little while, but was hoping to let you get a little extra sleep. But you're up now, and we've got a full day ahead of us if we're going to get to the bottom of this. How are you so chipper? Last night was horrible. Huh, I guess it was pretty gnarly, but those ditchlings are exactly the sort of thing I've been looking for my entire adult life. It's not like anyone got hurt, either, except for those poor critters in the woods. You shouldn't just bury your feelings like that. What we saw in the woods last night would mess with anyone. I get that it was the sort of thing that would traumatize most folks, but I guess that's not who I am. I'm fine, really. Besides, we have a task to focus on. There'll be time to be traumatized later. I want to check out the mines at some point today. Maybe some of the miners there can tell us about Wayne. He scared the bejesus out of me last night. Definitely. Kanika's waiting for us at the library. So we should head over there first, but unless we can find something solid on ditchlings there, the mines seem to be the strongest lead we've got. Oh, let me set up a group chat. What's your number? You and Stella exchange numbers. A text message from Stella to you and Kanika. It reads, Group Chat. Anyway, daylight's burning, so let's roll out as soon as you finish getting dressed. Need protein. So hungry. Don't worry about it. I've packed all sorts of snacks for the day, and Oscar totally won't mind if we eat at the library. Alright, but those snacks better be good. As if you ever need to worry. The walk to town was short. Stella's house is barely a stone's throw from what remains of Scarlet Hollow's once bustling main street. You shudder as you stare down the thoroughfare, both from the chill in the morning air and the all-too-present memories of everything you witnessed last night. You see that building labeled Town Hall? That's actually the library. Well, it's also the Town Hall, but that's just a small upstairs office nowadays. I guess this town's not what it used to be. That and our mayor's really into going on walks. I think they're actually going to be a meet and greet later this week. Could be just the pick-me-up we need with everything going on, everything that's been going on. Sounds fun. I'd love to meet the mayor. Sweet. You won't regret it. Oh, hey. Morning, Stella, and same to you, Max Power. Speak of the devil, we were just talking about you. Coming from Stella's, huh? Did you have a slumber party? Sorry, y'all, but I'm actually in a bit of a rush this morning. I really can't stop to chat. It'll take me a bit to set up, so if you want to catch up with folks or grab something at the diner, you can meet me at the library when you're done. Oh, sure. See you in a bit, Stella. Cool. See you soon. Whoa, she always has time to chat. Is she feeling okay? Oh, Stella and Max Power just got up to a bit of trouble last night, that's all. You can't just drop something like that and leave me hanging. What happened, Max Power? Stella and I went into the woods to try and find a skunk ape, but we ran into something way worse, actual monsters. Sybil said they were called ditchlings, but whatever they are, there are dozens of them and they're mutilating the local wildlife. Whoa, whoa, slow down. You actually found something out there? I can corroborate. I may not have been out there with them, but I've seen their footage, and they encountered something otherworldly in those woods. Well, whatever it was that happened out there, you clearly a little shaken up. Tell you what, I'm on break for the next half hour. How about you swing by the diner when he can fix you some of Sybil's new blend and try to calm your nerves? It's chaga and lemon balm. It's always helped me on the bad days. And if you need to talk about what happened, I'm all ears. Anyway, it's up to you. See you around, Max Power. See ya, Sybil. Take care now, Avery. I'd better get back to it myself. I'm glad I was able to catch you this morning, if only to see how you were holding up. Please don't hesitate to stop by if I can be of any help. We both know this place is cursed. How are you so calm? Don't mistake my calm demeanor for complacency. We all have our parts to play in this. I trust that you and Stella have what it takes to get to the bottom of things. I am so sorry to cut our conversation short, but I've got things that need tending to. Stay safe, Max Power, and God bless. Stella said you had some time to kill before she finishes setting up. No, let's swing by the general store first. This is your first time seeing the general store in the light of day. A young man sits at the table by the register, too preoccupied with his phone to care about that you stepped in. So if I want to buy some chips or something here, do I talk to you or... He sighs. I guess, yeah. Kanika decided to skip work today, so of course whatever plans I had didn't matter. Just take the chips. I don't care. I'm not about to turn down free stuff. You grab a bag of salt and vinegar chips from a nearby shelf. It will sustain you in the coming days. Cool. Hi, I'm Max Power. I just got to town yesterday. Yeah, I know. Mom told me. What's your name? Miles. What you doing on your phone? Games. You probably haven't heard of them. You should get out of town. There are monsters in the woods. I'm serious. Something bad is going to happen, and you should get out of here as soon as possible. You've been talking to my mom too much. Yeah, we're done here. You turn and leave the general store. Woo! Achievement unlocked. Sticky fingers. Yay, stealing, I guess. Let's go swing by the diner. The diner is a little quiet today, but the air is still heavy with the tantalizing smell of breakfast. Ooh, do we want to warn the patrons of the danger? Sure. Everyone, listen. Listen to me, please. There are monsters in the hills, and you're apparently some kind of harbingers of destruction. If you value your lives, you'll leave this place as soon as you can. This was a bad idea. Someone had fun up in the woods with Stella last night, huh? Nobody seems to be taking you very seriously. You slide into the booth across from Avery. Hey there, stranger. Before you can exchange words, Winnie sidles up, a fresh mug of tea in hand. Heard you might need this. The answer to 29 down is oink, by the way. What? But the clue is pen sound. How is the sound a pen makes? Wait, pen? Like pig pen? Are you kidding me? How was I supposed to guess that? I don't know why you even bother with those things. They're just gonna frustrate you. It's just something to do to fill the time, but maybe I should switch to Sudoku. Winnie leaves Avery contemplating daily newspaper puzzles, returning to her seat behind the counter. So, thanks for telling me about last night. If you want to really get into the grisly details, you can tell me. I won't judge. You take a gentle sip of your tea. It's bitter and earthy, a flavor profile enjoyed only by the healthiest of beverages. Whoa, not a lot of folks take the chaga so quickly. It's a fungus that grows on birch trees around here. It's supposed to be super healthy, but it definitely makes for a challenging drink. Color me impressed. I could tell you about last night, but what if you don't believe me? I'm not here to judge. I'm here to listen. Tell Avery about it. You spill the beans. Glad to have someone to talk to about the horrors you've witnessed. Wow, that is some heavy stuff. No wonder Stella seemed distant. Monsters in the woods. I may not have lived here long, but I've never heard of anything like that happening around these parts. Can't say I like the thought of it. I know that everything I told you about last night was a lot, but I'm not going to let anything happen to you or this town. We're on the case. Thanks, Max Power. I not typically want to get worried, but that's especially true with someone like you around. Oh man, it looks like my shift is starting. I hope you're doing a bit better. Maybe the Chaga's had a chance to start working its magic. I'm gonna keep my ears open for you. The diner is where everyone comes to gossip, so I hear a lot about what goes on around here. I'll let you know if anyone mentions those monsters or anything else strange or unusual. Avery slips out of the booth, giving you a friendly half-wave before disappearing into the back. You leave the diner, ready to continue your day. Alright, let's head to the library. You enter the former town hall. What once must have been a stately foyer has since been converted into rows of shelves. Meeting rooms and offices long ago gave way to assorted reference collections and reading areas. Oh, hey, you made it! Back. Settle in. You head over to Stella and Kanika's table and settle in. Glad you found the place. Hey, Max Power, you look tired. Oh, before I forget, I met your brother Miles. He made me take chips without paying for them. Max Power, you can't just snitch on someone like that. Look, I asked him to cover the store for one day, and he can't even be bothered to do that. Typical. I'm paying him, you know. It's no wonder he's chronically unemployed. Anyways, I guess we should get started. Hey there, strangers. And literal stranger. Hey, I'm Max Power, Tabitha's cousin. I'm in town for the funeral. Oh, I should have known you were a Scarlet. You look so much like Vivian. Not that I knew her very well. I was still a little kid when she left. But that Scarlet resemblance, it's, strong. I'm Oscar Gutierrez, Chief Librarian, and only librarian. Oscar's amazing. He practically built this library from scratch. Yeah, I'm a little jealous of what the kids around here get to grow up with. They don't know how good they have it. Back when I was in elementary school, all the library had was a couple of shelves of boring books donated by old people. Y'all are too kind. But speaking of kids, have either of you seen Rosalina around town? I don't want to be a helicopter dad, but she hasn't been answering my texts, and I wanted to make sure she isn't getting into trouble out there. You know the crowd she hangs around with. They're good kids at heart. I'm sure they're just up at the old Maxwell place doing teen stuff. I went up there plenty of times in my day, but I'll be sure to keep my eyes peeled. What's the old Maxwell place? It's this great old abandoned spot. We used to hang out there when we were teens. I can't believe I used to be so reckless. The floors there were like Swiss cheese. I should really have a talk with Rosalina when she gets home. I don't like the thought of teens getting up to mischief with all those ditchlings in the woods. Yeah. I don't like the thought of teens getting up to mischief with all those ditchling in the woods. Ditchlings? That's actually why we came in here. Have you ever heard of them? They're a cryptid, and seeing one's supposed to mean a disaster around the corner. Doesn't ring a bell. Dang, worth a shot. Okay, if you were, say, trying to predict a horrible disaster that might befall our town, where would you start looking? Well, they say history repeats itself, so I'd probably try and figure out what sort of disasters this region typically falls prey to. Mine collapses, perhaps? Or should I be worried about something? I don't know yet. I'll be right back. Gotta go nab some more books. Behave while I'm gone, Gretchen. Aw, you don't have to worry about her, Stella. You're such a good dog, aren't you, Gretchen? Here, have a biscuit, old gal. Gretchen inhales the soft biscuit, drool leaking from her toothless mouth as she swallows it whole. I'm pretty sure Stella's barking up the wrong tree, Oscar. I don't think you have to worry about any horrible calamities befalling the town. But she's right about the weird stuff. There's definitely something unusual going on out in those woods. If I were you, I would keep my loved ones close in the coming days. I'm going to try calling Rosalina again. I'm sure she's fine, really. Don't mind Max Power. They've been hanging out with Stella too much. Rosalina's a smart kid. She knows better than to go around getting into trouble, and we'll make sure to keep our eyes peeled. Thanks, Kanika. And Max Power, if you see a 13-year-old girl with a black braid and glasses, would you let her know her dad is worried about her? Oscar anxiously wanders off, phone in hand. Got him. Just grabbed a whole mess of local history books. Stella sets a massive pile of books on the table and pulls up a chair. All right. Got our snacks, got our source documents. Let's get this research party started. This is going to be so much faster with the two of you here to help out. I'll be doing most of my research online. You never know what kind of weird biases the folks writing these books might have. Whatever you find online might be biased too, you know. Which is why we cross-reference things. Yeah, you're right. It's good to cast a wide net. Guess the books are up to me and Max Power. Reading awaits. Forced into retirement at age 50 due to a war injury from his time in the Indian Wars, exacerbated by his short stint serving as a captain in the Confederacy, Silas Scarlet also lost his eldest two sons in that bloodiest of wars, leaving his third eldest child, Andrew Jackson Scarlet, to take charge of the mine. Under his leadership, the mine prospered, undoubtedly in part due to the growth of the railroad industry. Managed to evade the coal union for decades, making them one of the most profitable mines in the country. Andrew Scarlet built the surrounding town into what it is today, with expensive stone buildings, a bustling main street, and overseeing it all, the elegant Scarlet estate that was until 1889 the largest and finest feat of architecture in the region. Culminating in the tragic collapse of 1918, it was found that Charles Shaw, the co-manager of the mine, had loosened security measures to increase production during World War I, resulting in a fatal collapse and the deaths of over 160 men and boys, some as young as 10. The casualties included Andrew Jackson Scarlet's eldest son, Theodore, who had taken over for his aging father during the bustle of the war. His brother, Enoch V. Scarlet, managed to pull the mine from the brink of ruin, thereby saving the town. So this is how your family made its fortune. Let's flip through Silas Scarlet, soldier, woodsman, leader. Silas Everett Scarlet was born to Colonel Everett J. Scarlet in 1818. One of 12 siblings, he grew up in eastern North Carolina during a tumultuous time in the state's history, and not much is known about his life before he joined the Army in 1836. He quickly rose through the ranks, in part due to his father's connections, but also due to a particular ruthlessness for which he received the nickname Bloody Silas Scarlet. The federal government granted the now Captain Silas a tract of bounty land in exchange for his service in the Indian War, and he settled into the hills of North Carolina in 1841. That land would become Scarlet Hollow, but it started as a simple log cabin by Silas's own two hands, occupied by his family of 10. Silas, his wife Mary Joseph Scarlet, and their 8 children. Logging business brought many workers and fellow landowners to the hills, but it wasn't until Silas discovered rich seams of coal running underneath the entire region that Scarlet Hollow was really put on the map. He saved what he could and bought the surrounding hillside at a great discount, cleverly hiding what he knew about the land's true value. Thus, he had all the resources to found Scarlet Hollow's now famous coal mine. You're finished with this one. Let's flip through Appalachian folk monsters. A few entries catch your eye. So we got Wampus Cat, Tommyknockers, and Atalipo. Often linked to Cherokee legends, some cite the Wampus Cat as originating with the story of a woman who sought vengeance against a monstrous cat demon for driving her husband mad. She hunted it down and by wearing a bobcat mask, tricked it into using its own vile magic on itself, freeing the people of their region from its evil. Others say the creature comes from the story of a woman who wore the pelt of a wildcat to witness forbidden hunting rites. The hunters of her village gathered to perform the rites, and she watched in secret from underneath the cat's pelt, but was soon discovered. For her indiscretion, she was fused with the pelt and transformed into a creature that was neither human nor cat, forced to wander the wilderness alone, feared by all. Her calls are those of great sadness and serve as a warning to anyone who dares go against tradition. Tommyknockers originated in Cornish mythology, spreading to the United States when Cornish immigrants began working in Appalachian mines. They're named for the knocking that can be heard from seemingly within the walls before a cave-in. According to some, the knocking serves as a benevolent warning. Others believe that the creatures take stolen hammers to the supports of mines and collapse them, and whoever is unfortunate enough to still be inside. They are traditionally thought to be impish, leprechaun-like beings, but some claim they are the spirits of dead miners, forever cursed to haunt their final resting place. There was a hunter who lived in a tiny cabin in the middle of the woods, all alone with his hunting dog. One night, after a particularly bad week of hunting, both their stomachs empty, the hunter spied something out of the corner of his eye. Some small creature had gotten into the cabin through the hole, and before he could even figure out what it was, he'd drawn his gun and fired at the thing, his hunger guiding his actions. But it was quick and ran back through its hidey hole and out of sight, leaving only its long black tail shot off by the hunter's rifle. "Guess this'll have to do," he said to his dog, and threw the tail in a pot to cook a soup. He and his dog ate well that night, and a tail filling them both up. The hunter crawled into bed satisfied, and his dog curled up at his feet. He woke up to the sound of long nails scrabbling across wood. His dog was nowhere in sight, only a rumpled spot in the covers where he'd been. And in the gloom, he saw two big yellow eyes staring right at him. "I want my taily-po," a high, hoarse voice croaked from the darkness. "Go away!" he screamed at the thing. But it stepped closer to him, still shrouded in darkness, the sound of long claws dragging across hardwood accompanying its movements. "I want my taily-po," the creature growled again. "I'll get my dog after you," the hunter squeaked, his voice catching in his throat with fear, but there was no dog to be seen. "I want my taily-po." Before the hunter could so much as scream, the creature leapt from the darkness, long claws stretched out toward the hunter. "Hey, big crybaby! Welcome!" Yay! Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome your raiders that are coming with you. What were you up to? What were you playing? Let's see if I can figure out how to spell. Oh yay! More bug snacks. I put it on my wish list in Steam. It does look really cute. So definitely going on my list of things to try. Yeah, of course. And thank you for raiding. Thank you for joining. We are back to Scarlet Hollow today. Yeah, it looks really, really neat and a little bit weird, and definitely like first person-y, but it looks fun, and I found some videos of it and to watch the gameplay and put it on my wish list, so I'm hoping to try it someday. Right now my list of games to play is like 50 miles long, but definitely added it to there. But yeah, this is our powerful build and mystic playthrough of the 21 potential options of Scarlet Hollow. So we are investigating some creepy things we found in the woods yesterday. But it's a visual novel, so there's mostly a lot of talking and some real good art, basically. So hang out, enjoy. If you need to go de-stream, please take care of yourself, get some water, get some snacks, get some rest. But yeah, it's pretty neat. We are in the beginning parts of chapter 2. So far we've run into some weird creatures in the woods and that are basically creating kind of growths on all the animals, and local wise woman has told us that they're called the ditchlings, and they bring bad, like they're omens of disasters happening. So we are in the library with our new friends. doing some investigating into Appalachian local myths. So, the tally-po wants its taily-po from the hunter here. No one is sure what the creature did to him that night, but the next morning all that remained of the hunter, his dog, and his cabin was a chimney standing alone in the woods. That book is creepy. You close the book and put it back. I think I'm all done. Let's check in. Oh, it's so weird to not have the book smart trait and like so many more books to read. All right. If we're going with what Kanika's mom told us last night, I think we can rule out any natural disasters as what brought the ditchlings here. But not nuclear incidents. Looks like our state has a history of those. What about y'all? Find anything? Before you can respond, a handsome black cat leaps onto the table. Stella quickly slams her book shut. Aw, hey, Pixel. You might want to close your book. He loves to rip up the paper, any paper that he can find. Don't worry, little guy. I didn't forget your treats. Pixel immediately goes to town on Stella's treats. Sorry if Pixel's bothering y'all. Hopefully he hasn't gobbled up any of our books. He can't stand the thought that people might pay attention to anything that isn't him. Why do you let a paper shredder freely wander the library? Have you seen this little guy's face? How could I say no to that? Yeah, okay. You decide to leave Pixel be. The cat curls up on the table, fast asleep. All right, I better get back to shelving. Let me know if y'all need anything. Stella, what was that you were saying about nuclear incidents? You were talking about that Goldsboro thing, right? Yeah, apparently, in the 60s, a B-52 carrying a live warhead broke up mid-air and dropped a couple of bombs. Fascinating bit of history there. The first of the two bombs landed upright after its parachute got caught in a tree. Thankfully, it didn't go off. At the time, the government claimed that the bomb was unarmed, but it later came out that the only thing preventing a detonation was a single electrical switch which failed to trigger on the descent. And 60 years later, the second bomb still hasn't been recovered. Right. Its conventional explosive disintegrated in midair, but most of the nuclear material was made unrecoverable by flooding. If I remember correctly, they just buried it and sealed it up. I don't think disarming nuclear bombs is part of our skill set. Absolutely not. Also, Goldsboro is almost 400 miles from here. I think we're good. I'm just saying, you never know with radiation. We actually know quite a bit. It just melts you. It doesn't make monsters. And a 60-year-old bomb isn't going to explode on its own hundreds of miles away and kill us here. You never know. There could always be a whole underground society of bomb-worshipping mutants just waiting to blow it up. I've missed this. Do you think Wayne factors into any of this? That creep who keeps coming around my mom's tea room? He snuck up on us last night and called out Max Power by name. Yeah, there's definitely something wrong with him. Maybe he's sick. Maybe that has something to do with what you saw in the woods. I don't know. I'd buy it. You lean in and quietly whisper to Stella and Kanika. Do you guys think that there's like a cult here? A lot of folks here feel tense and closed off. The whole vibe of this town is off, and it feels like folks are hiding something. Or maybe people here just aren't used to strangers. So about the coal mines here. Kanika visibly shudders. I get cold sweats just thinking about being in a place like that. I feel for the guys who work up there. I could never. Speak for yourself. I love a good crevice. Phrasing, Stella. What happened after the mine collapsed? The book just kinda glosses over that. There was a union for a little bit, but it didn't last. There's not a whole lot written about the past century here. Yeah, the Scarlet Hollow mine isn't exactly the most ethically run business. No offense or anything. I'm sure Tabby runs the mines better than Charles Shaw did. Still hasn't let the union in, though. There's a reason she and I don't talk. The union-busting mine collapsed from poor working conditions. Color me shocked. Yeah, it's pretty awful. That's what that sculpture out front is for, commemorating all the men and children who died that day. Every kid in Scarlet Hollow learns about the collapse of 1918. Yard sprayed, car seat reinstalled, and put up the sunshade on my swing. Nice! Good job. We are, reading books without having the book smart trait. Our teachers love to emphasize how many children they had working down there, probably to try and show us how good we have it, or whatever. Low bar, if you ask me. You know, that could be what the ditchlings are warning us about. Another collapse. Writing it down on the list of potential disasters. Yeesh, Stella, that's morbid. And besides, it was all Charles Shaw's fault. The labor market is way more strict now. There's no way you can get away with that kind of safety cutbacks he pulled. You don't actually think the mine is about to collapse, right? Huh, no, I don't think so. Phew, had me worried there for a second. I hate to give Tabitha any credit, but the mine is safer now than it was back then. Still, what a horrible thought. You never know. You guys really seem to have a bone to pick with Charles Shaw. That's what happens when someone directly causes monumental disaster, especially in a small town like this. People tend to spit when they hear your name. He got run out of town on a rail, you know. And that's not a figure of speech. Back then, they actually tied you to a rail and run you out of town. There's a big mural of it over on the far wall. He got off easy, if you ask me. I'm not sure I agree with the collapse angle, but the mines seem important. The whole town is built around them. Yeah, that's fair. They're bound to be relevant in some way. Hard to argue against that, but that doesn't really give us much to go on. And just because something seems obvious, it doesn't necessarily mean it's right or relevant. So, Silas Scarlet. Yes, I figured old money from the South wouldn't be great, but he sure did some things to get where he was, huh? That book is a perfect example of why you should use multiple sources for your research instead of trusting the first thing you read on the subject. Yep, dude was a monster. The mines made a lot of money during the Civil War, too, and you can probably guess which side a North Carolina business owner would be working for. Sorry, you're related to him. This town is stuck in the past and built on atrocities. I'd already practically collapsed into itself, no offense. But maybe that's why the ditchlings are here. None taken. Why would the ditchlings be here now, though? Scarlet Hollow's been like this for as long as I can remember. So, Appalachian folk monsters. Wampus cats kind of sound like they could be the mountain lions. Voice like a woman crying out, somewhere between person-sized and cat-sized. Definitely, they are 100% mountain lions. Kanika, you know there are no mountain lions up here. I thought you were supposed to be a skeptic. But the myths are old, right? Mountain lions didn't go extinct in the Appalachians that long ago. Those legends just haven't died off yet. Almost every cryptid can be tracked down to either a hoax or someone getting confused about a perfectly normal animal. Sometimes both. Bigfoot, for instance, started as a prank, then folks saw bears walking around on their hind legs and got freaked out, and now here we are. You'll eat those words when I get the first clear footage of a Bigfoot. If you manage that, I'll print out a piece of paper that says Bigfoot isn't real and literally eat it. I promise. I'm holding you to it. Do you think the ditchlings are Tommyknockers? What with the whole warning thing? Good thought, but Tommyknockers live in mines. That's like their whole thing. I'm gonna write it down, though. Tommyknockers are literally just the sounds that happen when a bunch of rocks and wood are about to collapse. Are they? Or are they the sound of mysterious creatures pounding on the rocks and support beams with hammers to cause a collapse? There's simply no way to know. My mom used to tell me that Talipo story back when I was little. I can't believe I forgot that one. It scared me so bad I didn't eat soup for years. I thought a monster might try and dig it out of my stomach if I did. Ew. Huh, I love that one. There's this old chimney in the woods that I used to think was the chimney from Talipo. The one that was left after the thing did whatever it did. Now I know it's just because chimneys don't burn down and wooden houses do. Doesn't mean it's not the chimney from Talipo. I've camped out there a couple of times and seen some pretty spooky stuff. Yeah, I watched that video. You saw raccoons. You're gonna get rabies one of these days chasing after wildlife like that. What can I say? I like to live on the edge. Let's move on. Have you had any luck with Rosalina? Not yet. I know a teen would be a handful, but I didn't think it'd happen overnight. I'll probably head out once you're all done and check in on her usual haunts. I think we should head back to the woods. We know those creatures are there. Anything else right now is just speculation. The two of you barely made it out of the woods alive last night. I'd much rather we at least try to get more information on what we're dealing with before we blindly throw ourselves into danger. The ditchlings are either exactly what Kanika's mom told us they were, in which case they're not what we should be going after, or they're a potentially dangerous cryptid we know next to nothing about. We might as well try and learn a bit more before we go back into the woods. There's an awful lot of mine-related stuff in my notes. Maybe that should be our next step. We can poke around, find out if anyone's seen anything weird. Just to clarify, you're suggesting we go to question some of the miners, right? We are not poking around unprepared in the actual mines, right? ... Right? Yeah, totally. 100%. I would never. We don't even have a good reason to go down there. Good. Let's keep it that way. You know how I feel about mines. I promise, Neeks, we're just going to question some of the miners. And if that questioning gives us a good reason to poke around, say, a cool abandoned coal mine, then we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. You can cross that bridge when we come to it. I'm not going underground. I'm just messing with you. We'll stick to the surface. Okay, good. And hopefully we can find out what happened to Wayne while we're at it. I suppose it's no use resisting the threads of fate. We were always going to wind up in the mines. Well, that's kind of ominous. I'm a little worried about Tabitha. She's not exactly going to be thrilled to see us snooping around the mines. We can be sneaky. I'll make sure to be a good lookout. She'll never even know we were there. Look at us, going on a caper together. I missed this. I missed it too. I mean, sure, it's not under the best circumstances, but I've been so wrapped up in running the store, I didn't realize how much I missed being able to hang out with you. Though, there is something missing. Reese! I really miss that dude. I can't believe how long it's been since we've seen each other. Have you seen him lately? Nope. I've tried to plan stuff, but he's been too sick. I didn't realize it was getting so bad. That poor guy. You know, we could just pop over and surprise him. He seemed excited to meet Max Power. Maybe we'll finally get him to leave his little cave. Hey, yeah, let's do it. All right, let's roll out. See you, Oscar. We'll let you know if we run into Rosalina. thanks, guys. I'll keep you all posted. Oh, goodness gracious. I think I need to go because my voice is going. But I am going to be back on Saturday with more Animal Crossing and I think maybe more Sims. But for now, we're going to wrap up. I should save. Make sure that that's all ready for next time. But thank you for hanging out, folks, and I will see you later in the week.